hello again. I'm Julie John, and I'm here with Dr. Bob Rothbard from Rancho Cucamonga Optometric Center. And we're in one of our multitude of a series of videos talking about various things to do with optometry. And today I want to talk about, with you, Dr. Bob, tell us about vision and learning. I know kids and their vision, it's very caught up with learning, and probably adults too. What can you tell us about how vision affects learning?
It could affect it tremendously. If a kid can't see the board at school, of course, that's going to be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really interesting, Julie, because there's sometimes an inverse correlation. I've seen kids with terrible vision, can't see anything, and they do extremely well in school. And then you have the ones who have normally sighted 20/20 vision at distance, and some of them have problems. So at best, there isn't any correlation with how well someone necessarily sees, as long as they're corrected to see, and how well they're doing at school. I've seen kids who have to read like this and do really well, and I've seen kids otherwise who seem normal have a heck of a time. But there are things that I look for when I'm doing the exam, which tells me that there might be a visual problem. One, you're having fun with that.
I am. I'm having fun with these.
That is fantastic.
I like a little bling here.
One, of course, we check to see how well they're seeing. Two, we want to see how well their eyes coordinate. And this is a major thing. So there are two
there's two eyes.
Facets. There's two eyes, of course, but there's two facets that are really important. One is how well the eyes aim together, and the other one is how well the eyes focus. In other words, aiming is where it is, focusing is what it is.
How far it is or something.
Exactly, where it is and how clear it is. And a lot of times those two systems do not work well together.
And they need to for
And they
good
need
vision.
to be able to, for the child or even for that matter, the adult, to be able to read effectively without losing their place. A lot of times you look at the posture that a kid has. If they start reading like this, or they start putting their hand over one eye, it tells you they might have trouble teaming their eyes together.
With their eyes together, because maybe they're
Exactly.
not using that eye.
They might not be using it, or the eyes are fighting one another.
Oh, wow.
And it leads to a lot of problems. Not all learning problems, obviously, are visually related, but more than you would think have a visual problem and so forth. I know myself, I did so wonderfully well on my SATs, and I say that quite facetiously because I never read any books. Yeah, I never read any books for pleasure. The first time I took it, I scored, well, I don't know what this is.
Well, you don't have to tell us.
Well, we won't tell you what it is,
yeah.
but it's pretty darn embarrassing. Actually, I'm kind of proud that I was able to do so well despite it. But I never read any books for pleasure. You know, part of the problem is, as I alluded to earlier videos, it's not so much the problem, it's realizing that you have a problem to begin with, and it's not all in your head, and you're really not stupid. That there is actually a problem.
We adapt so well to problems that sometimes we don't even know, you know, and I can imagine that adults can develop vision problems very gradually over time, and where they're not doing a lot of reading like a kid is, it doesn't necessarily come up.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that you kind of reminded me of, Julie. It's young adults graduating from high school and so forth, and they never did any close-up work, and all of a sudden you stick them in front of a computer or data entry job, and a lot of times one or two or both of the things are going to occur. They're going to start to develop symptoms: headache, fatigue, red eyes. They can't focus far or near, and then they start to notice, hey, my night vision isn't as good as it used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Or, God, now it's my day vision. I can't see clearly at all. And so a lot of times symptomology occurs, such as we mentioned, headaches, fatigue, eyes tearing and so forth, red eyes and so forth. They don't even know how to blink because a lot of times they're looking at the screen, they don't even blink. They just keep their eyes open and so forth.
Oh, that's a bad I've had that problem myself, forgetting to blink.
Exactly. So these are things that we're really looking for. And then full-blown, they start to lose vision all the time at distance.
But it can be corrected if you start employing some intelligent techniques such as blinking when you're...
Some little kid trying to come in.
Yeah.
Blinking, making sure you
reversed?
can it be reversed? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. A lot of times you look to prescribe something that might reduce the strain on the eyes as far as glasses or even contact lenses are concerned. But contact lenses can bring a problem because people look at computers all day long with contact lenses. A lot of them complain of dry eye.
Oh, Well, what about taking a little break and looking off in the distance? Does that do as much as I think it does?
You know, Dr. Julie, that's a pretty good statement. Absolutely. You know, just to be able to relax your eyes in looking at a computer and so forth and look off into the distance maybe every 20 minutes could help reduce some of the symptomology.
That sounds good. Well, I think we'll end it there, Bob, and thank you so much for this one in a series of many great optometry videos. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Julie.